afternoon, Manas, and good to see you here. Manas is recommended for OTA, All India rank 71, correct?
Yes, sir.
All set to join academy. Good to see you, Manas. The energy, the vibrancy, as I see. पीछे मुझे कुछ stick on notes भी दिख रहे हैं तो तैयारी अभी चली रही है क्या?
Yes, sir. Already preparing for academy.
नहीं ये पीछे stick on notes पे क्या है?
Sir, it's all current affair related. Something about the INSAS rifle.
हाँ,
Something I want
तो
to train. My goals.
so you're
Before
preparing
joining.
already ki what will be there in the academy? That's good. That's very
Yes,
interesting.
sir. That is the SSB process has taught me that to be well prepared in. Uh, yeah.
Great, amazing. So you got recommended in your last attempt.
Yes, sir.
So, very interesting to know. And please tell your journey from where did it begin and how did you finally made it? It'll be very good to know that.
Well, the journey I would say is not a very long one. I haven't given any ND exams, or my dream has been not that for long. But my dream was to play for India. Ever since I was 6, 7 year old, I was a professional cricketer that time. I mean, from there, and I wanted to play for India, and that was the main goal. But as an adult, as an 18, 19-year-old guy, understanding that I'm not there yet, or even after performing in certain tournaments, it's not going to happen. And then that realization come, and while the goal of playing for India or representing India remain the same, the means has changed. And then and there in COVID, after COVID time, this armed forces thing came into my mind, and to represent India is the bigger goal. And then and there I started preparing, and ever since that I haven't looked back. So my study journey has started from there, because as a sportsman before, I was not into studies. I've got 50% in my 12th standard, 45% in my BCom graduation, because I haven't gone to college. It was a dummy college. So after that, preparing for CDS, clearing it in my first attempt. So I thought it's going to be an easy journey, because after all that, but then and there I got screened out. So it was just another setback. Then again I prepared, and then again I was screened out. So twice I have been screened out. And then in the third attempt, I started focusing on something that I'm missing, maybe OIR, maybe the group discussion part. I've gotten into that so much I could not clear the written exam. So then again I set my mind straight. It was my last attempt. This is the last thing that's going to happen. So I've also considered my backup options, but then my preparation was full on this time, and I was pretty confident also in my mind. When I was giving the screening process, I was in the GD. The way I was speaking, I felt that I am more prepared than the other guys. So maybe that all these years of preparation came into this one, and all that happened. And when the officer announced my chest number, it was all worth it. I could have remembered all these years that I've been preparing.
Great to know that. So, first of all, the cricket journey, how far did you actually reach? You wanted to represent India, but there must be a level that you must have achieved. कहाँ तक पहुँचे?
Yes, sir. So I have represented my state, that is Rajasthan, in under 14 and under 16 level. And then I have played local cricket in under 19, under 23. It was Challenger Trophy or some selection matches I've gone through, but could not make it to the team. I've did various camps of state team, but in I was in the standbys for Jaipur team for some time, standbys in Rajasthan team for some time. Just could not get there. One step behind me, and it was always that.
Ranji,
No, sir, I haven't got a chance to play Ranji, but I was a net baller in Ranji team. I've interacted with various players. They have guided me so much.
which all
Even Yuzvendra
which
Chahal,
player
uh, sorry, sir.
which all player you interacted with?
Yes, a Rajasthan player, Aniket Chaudhary. He has played IPL from RCB. So I have interacted with him. Pankaj Singh is another fast bowler that I've interacted. Yuzvendra Chahal, in fact, which plays India from Haryana. I've met a chance to meet him in an IPL net bowler. I was a net bowler for Sunrisers Hyderabad also. So I did this various things.
If you're net bowler for IPL, then you get some money also. You will just give to ball them.
No, sir, it was mostly voluntary,
Uh,
but they select you. You just can't go there and bowl. but I was there bowling for some time, and Muthaiya Muralidharan was there in one of the sessions, and he asked me to come and bowl. So that time, it was a good chance for me to showcase my talent and interact with some international players. So no money, no, not a contract or something.
Do you miss cricket?
Yes, sir, definitely. It was my first love, I could say. So you never forget that.
So uh, that journey must be very tough, yeah. Not getting selected, not getting selected, making it to some stage and then failing. How did you cope with it?
Well, it was tough, but I mean, it was automatic, to do better next time. It was always that motivation. My parents have been supportive. My father, especially, he was always, you'll get there, you'll get there this time. It was always that backing. So you never thought of giving up or something. It was more, when I was leaving cricket, it didn't feel like giving up. It was more like letting go. No, not for me, something like that.
It was
So
like
letting go
letting
of
go.
something.
Okay.
I was so mentally occupied of something, and it was just constructing me to do something better. So it felt like that.
And you did your open college, you said?
Well, I did my bachelor's in commerce, but the college was mostly for sports people. Attendance is not compulsory. You just come and give
Except
exams.
for that only.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's very nice. So now another thing which you told, which is very interesting, is that you cleared your CDS written in first go, and which wherein I meet students who are not able to clear their CDS written even after taking a gap of 1 year, 2 year. What would you like to say about this? What advice would you like to give? How did you go about it? 50% in 12th, I believe. Some 45% in graduation, right? How did you manage it? How did you do that?
Well, yes, sir. I have some friends also, scored much better in 10th and 12th, was more inclined towards academics, but not able to clear the CDS exam. But I feel that it is a totally different thing from that. Even if you didn't focus in 10th and 12th, but it's a different pattern. This government exams and this competitive exams, the different kind of approach is required, which is very different from 10th and 12th or what we used to study in school. So my advice or my takeaway from that is that the passion and the amount of hours that is required. Sometimes people with engineering or jobs are not able to do that. I was lucky enough that I was only focusing for 3 months, only focusing on this exam, and which is also very fortunate of me. Lots of people doing with multiple jobs, other work. So that was, I think, I was grateful for that. But again, the amount of hours that you're giving, the amount of mock practices, the realistic practice required. For a month, for 30 days exact, I was wearing the same dress that I was going to the center and practicing at the same time 9 to 11 my English exam, 12 to 2 my GK exam. I was practicing that previous year question paper. The simulation that you can create your environment, because I have never given such an exam in such a setting, all the India level. So the environment that I've created for myself, that made it easier for me to cope with the pressure, even if the pattern is different. I remember in one year that English exam vocabulary section was very increased, which is not so much scoring, but I was prepared for that. So the kind of simulation you have to create, the practice, the current affairs, this is all very different from what we used to learn in school.
Great to know. And coming back to your now SSP journey, which is the matter of more interest to the people who might be watching this. So, how did it start? Did you go for some kind of? I think we connected in February, November. I am not able to recollect. November,
Yes, sir, it was February.
February.
In
So,
February impact.
before that, you must have been. Everyone who is trying to get into armed forces must have done something. So, what was your journey about that? What is your also advice? How should you go about working on personalities if you have to?
Well, starting from my own journey, I did not focus on SSB while I was preparing for CDS exam, and that was the biggest mistake that I've been screened out twice. Because I think I had to focus so much on the CDS exam that was not paying attention or didn't know what's going to happen next. My goal, I was focused towards only the written exam, and that was the mistake. I will recommend people who are studying now, focus simultaneously if you can. But after when I cleared the CDS exam, my family was so happy, first attempt and all. I was way too excited. So the best thing, that I got to know that it's get an offline. Uh, what can we say is the interaction, what the experience, what is like going to happen there. And then I went to some academy. It gave me a good experience. I'm not going to say that it gave me a lot of knowledge about the process, but it gave me a lot of realistic experience. Now I remember 5 PPDT sessions that we have of 25 people in a batch.
Hmm.
So that gave me a confidence to speak in front of public. That was a major takeaway. Don't go for coaching because they're going to teach you something. They're going to change your life, change your routine, give you some books to recommend. I did not feel that's going to change, but the fear, that interaction, the
In
exposure you get,
that.
that is more important. Exactly.
Hmm.
So after that, I was feeling very confident. Then my SSB came, and I was chosen as the speaker, the one who speaks the common story. And
People.
maybe I was too dominant because of the exposure there of 25 people speaking to each other. And then in the group, there was only 10. So the volume I was speaking, the way I was speaking, it was not realistic. I feel that I was maybe my tone was a bit loud, my pitch was a bit loud, too confident, I would say.
So then it
So
means that that kind of training can actually backfire also.
absolutely, can backfire. You have to be
Uh,
smart on your own. What's the requirement? Even if there are 25 people in the room, maybe that tone could have worked, right? But you have to adapt according to the room. Read the room is my first takeaway. That was my take. I wrote it in my notebook that read the room. That was a major takeaway
the
from the
room is
process.
read the room, right?
Yes.
That's very interesting. Okay, then.
Then I understood that I made this mistake and I've tried to resolve that. Then I think we connected in January February batch. Then again, you told me some nice things about discussions about current affairs, how to go about it, and the process. The way the examples you gave about World War I, connecting to the GTO task. You know that was helpful to get an insight. At that offline academy, we did not get that kind of insight. It was more about the process, what is going to happen, and what you are going to be there. But in your classes, the different, I would say, is the history of it. Why it was originated. What is are they testing? Each OLQs we went about, and what are they testing? And I feel that I have had these qualities. That again, that kind of confidence helped me. Then we
Qualities,
did
the
a small.
qualities are always there, I believe. Thoda sa dust is there. The dusting is to be
Yes,
required. Yeah.
absolutely. I could feel that these kind of the way you said sense of responsibility, the way you said family, what the things you do. No, I always feel that I have these qualities in me, but it has to be refreshed. It has to be dusted, as you said. Then your classes gave me a lot of confidence, and this confidence helped me to give mock interviews. Previously, I was a little hesitant to give mock interviews or speak in front of an assessor. But that kind of interaction, one session also we had for 15 minutes. You put it on YouTube. I don't know if you remember. You said that hoga आपका सबर रखो होगा सबका, and you said it to me specifically that time. So again, that confidence gave me to give a lot of more mock interviews. And this time I focused on only mock interviews. To around 5 assessors, I have given mock interviews. I will not say that some of them were really great, some of them were not really helpful, but all of them give me an exposure again that I said. And my next SSB was in SSB Jalandhar. And then I went there. I think I've done very well. I've spoken very well. I narrated my story. I've been selected as a person to tell the common story. But for some reason, this time I could not take away. I was screened out. Maybe it was the OIR. I don't know. and that was really heartening because this time I felt that I've done really well, and again I've cleared the CDS exam, and so just didn't work out, you know. And I was so devastated that my father has booked a flight, and I went to the railway station. I did not know what's happening, and that was really bad.
Oh, matlab, you didn't know you have to go to airport. You rather ended up at
That time I was so occupied in my mind, and what happened, that was surprising. But maybe something I've done, you know, I could not get any takeaway. You know, always learn from your failures, but problem is that I could not, you know, could not find what did I do, what does it want from me. That was kind of thoughts in my mind. But again, you know, I forget that because some things are just to be forgotten. Again, back to it, back to studies. After a few days of break, you know, talking to my sister, going to her house in Mumbai. That's my therapy session, you know, to just forget everything, spend time with my sister, my friends. That they helped me again to cope with that and get right back into that. Then my last attempt, you know, again I've this time I've practiced my group discussion. I was more active on Telegram group discussions because just to give an exposure, only not PPTT sessions, just group discussion to brush up my current affairs. I was very confident on my current affairs this time. This I think also helped me in my PPDT and TAT and all these interviews. I've given mock interviews again to another three, four assessors. One was, I would say, I would like to point out one because he roasted me like anything. He gave me that confidence that this is the worst that can happen. So now I'm only going to go up from here. And this was 20 days before the interview. And he tried to play with my confidence. And I tried to roast me down and what are you doing? 50% here, what will you do? Paul doesn't need these kind of people and all. But he gave me that confidence and this is the worst that can go. And I prepared again. But this time it was different, you know. Uh, this time I think in the PPDT session I did not do as well that I could have because the narration was smooth, but in the group discussion I did not take much part. There was a fish market kind of situation. I tried to resolve it down, but did not go. But my OIR was good. But the one thing is that my story was unique. You know, out of all 15, 14 people, I had a very unique or very realistic story. To give in context, it was a picture of a farm or some kind of park that I presume it was a park. And 90% people made it a story on organic farming, and which is a very common theme. You know, all these years of preparing, you must have known that farming, organic farming, is a very common theme. But I made it around my sister visiting to my town, and I am showing her places. And at the end, we sat there in a park on a bench, talked about something, about her job, about what's going on in my life, that kind of thing. So I think that story, the assessor was listening or whatever. I think I did well on my story part. So that was my experience till then.
Okay, so you got screened in.
Yeah, so I got screened in finally.
Then, how was your other tasks? Yeah.
Then first of all, I was really excited. You know, I called my parents and they started crying. I thought that people cry after getting recommended, and my parents were already emotional when I got screened in. So that was the assurance that you know now anything can happen, and everything. I've all these years I've said that once I got screened in, I will see. You know, the screening is unpredictable, but once I got screened in,
That was the
that
only hurdle you had.
yes.
Hmm.
So then next day a psych test was there. So in TAT, I think I did very well. I wrote original stories, no preconceived, nothing. All these, well, I can say confidently all the 12 stories, all the 11 stories that I've written, I have never written it before. It may be a recurring theme, but I've never practiced. I have practiced, but I have not written the same. It was all original stories, and I think it's a good thing, you know, because the first thing comes in your mind is always that preconceived story. You have to, if you have practiced, you have to erase that sometimes. But the thought came originally, and I wrote all these stories. Then the VAT section, I got some trouble because of the time. Because you need to get some time to calm down, or these 15 seconds can be discomforting at first. But my first 15 sentences were not adequate, I feel. I left two or three, and I was a little troubled by this 15-second timer. I haven't practiced much for that. So all of you are preparing, give a little practice. Get used to the timing of that process. So then I did well in that other 40 sentences. Then and SRT is my strong point. I completed 55 SRTs, which is probably more than 50-60% of the people that are doing. Most of them,
What is the key to write SRTs? Because many people end up writing 30 SRTs only. What is your advice on that?
I think I remember what you said about SRT is first response, not the second response. Maybe sometimes second response is obvious. You should take him to the hospital. Doctor will see him, but the first response is first aid, and maybe you can concede to that. Just an example. First response is important. What will you do? I think the assessor wants that from you, not the second or third response. So, in one line, I can say that first response,
Do not waste time in writing long sentences. Write the first response. So
first
that's
response.
simple more. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Then,
That's why consistently in the practice session, I was able to do 50 and more than 50 SRTs.
okay.
So,
Then, hmm,
and then in that session, in that test, a personal, uh, I forgot that name. Uh, the test about your family, what your friends think about you.
SD.
SG, sorry, self-description test. Yes, sir.
Uh,
So I had prepared for that. What I want to do, what I want to highlight here, what I want to show my weakness as should align with the process that I am. So I had prepared for that only, and I think I was able to write all the five questions that they have answered. So I was very satisfied with my psych test. Apart from the VAT section, first 15 or first 10, I was little third, but apart from that, I was very satisfied from that. And now coming to the day third, it started off with my DD session, and there were two group discussion held there, and I was able to initiate all both the group discussions, and I felt I speak adequately, I speak well, and the group was also very healthy. It was a very healthy conversation. Even though one of the people, get violent, get a little bit aggressive, and all that happens. But it was nice. GTO session I enjoyed the most. It is the most enjoyable for me. All the tasks, the GOR race, all boosting up. It was nice. So then on day fourth, I had my personal interview, which it was scheduled at 1 p.m., but it held at 4 p.m. I mean 3 p.m. is the last interview or something like that, but the officer was busy or something like that. The schedule was shifted, and my interview was at 4 p.m. And I mean, it was a kind of different interview. It was all these mock interviews given, six, seven mock interviews. It was nothing like that.
yeah.
You know what
All on
was?
CIQs.
Yeah.
Idly,
So
it
no.
was only about CIQs. And as you were telling, no, I thought I'll interrupt you, but then grilling, the part which is used, grilling. There's no such thing as grilling, because just to give you my opinion on that, if you grill someone, are you keeping him in his subconscious, unconscious, or are you bringing him back to your conscious, his conscious? Usually he will become alert. So your psychological interview will actually become a scary interview. That is not the objective. So your actual interview was based on CIQs, right?
Right, absolutely. He was very kind to me. He was trying to get me open,
That's how
very
the
softly
design is.
spoken.
That's how the design is. It has to be a kind, natural. The interviewer should be very, comfortable and easygoing, not the one who is scaring you. So this concept is very bad. Whoever
Yes, sir.
these people, whoever are doing this in their whatever mock interviews, they are actually confusing the candidate. But then you said it helped you in the other way. Okay, what worse can happen? So I think that
Yeah,
would be a good takeaway, I'll say. Okay.
yes. So as you said, it was very comforting. Start that Manas had. Sorry for the, sorry for the timing. I know it was scheduled at around 1, and now I'm taking at 4. Hope you don't mind that. No, sir, absolutely not. Have you had your lunch? Yes, sir. What did you had? Rice and dal. And I said that I have eaten chocolate for energy. Well, "Achha, what chocolate have you eaten?" I said, sir, Cadbury Fuse. Then he asked me, okay, Manas, who is the CEO of Cadbury India? I have no idea there. Okay, what is the parent company of Cadbury? I have no idea. So then he asked, how much protein and carbs are there in that chocolate? No, somehow I knew that. So I answered that, and he was all about that chocolate. We talked about 5 minutes about all the chocolates in India, which is the best one. What are protein bars in the market doing? So to make me comfortable, that was the rapport building, as you say. So it started from there. Then again, it started from the CIQ that you have told. So in the CIQ, he pointed out that percentage, why it's so low. Are you proud of it? He asked that question. Are you proud of it? No, sir. If somehow I've got another chance, I would have focused more on my studies, balance my sports and my study. But I'm not at all proud of it. Okay, but you have done well enough to sit here. Yes, sir, all that thing. So then he came about my family, my relation with my sister, especially that I have pointed out. He asked me some other question about my sister, what kind of help she does to you, what she thinks about you, and what kind of conversation do you have with her, that kind of thing. Then about my friends, he asked in my friends, he asked me about very details, the weaknesses he asked, if I were to ask a friend 5 weaknesses of Manas that he can improve. And at that time, I was a bit frozen, 5 weaknesses that my friend needs to improve. At that time, I was blank, for 30 odd seconds, I did not say anything. And then something I said that it could have gone backfired, but I think it worked. I said that my friend would say nothing to you because he's my friend. He should say something to me first. And he started laughing. So I said that he asked specifically, I said, what will he say to me if I asked about Manas? And I said, he will not say anything to you. If he got in all these years, I think I'm a good friend, I'm a good person. And if he thinks like that, he will say that to me first. So he started laughing and we diverted from the topic. Then it went to academy, OTA specifically. What kind of training? I think that was very interesting for me also to answer. That he asked me about, okay, Manas, what academy you will go to? And I said, Officers Training Academy in Chennai. How many months of training will you acquire? So I said 11 months. No, weeks. Tell me exact. And I said 49 weeks. Then he said, what kind of subjects will you be taught? What kind of process will be there? What will be the environment will be there? And what is POP ceremony? He asked me about my interest, my motivation that I got. And I'm lucky that I have some friends. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of OTA. I was able to answer all these, and he was very satisfied with that. From what I understand, that because I think he was checking my motivation, and then and there he get that motivation from me. So to all these people who are preparing, please learn about your academies. AFA, INA, OTA. That gives that assessor a confidence that this guy is uh, will be able to
He's
cope with that
serious about
pressure.
serious about the work.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. Then uh, then in after 5-10 minutes, he asked me that, okay, Manas, I have asked you everything. Is there anything you want to tell me? And suddenly it hit me that, okay, my interview is over. All these years I've been preparing for that. And I said, yes, sir, I want to tell you a lot of other things. Okay, Manas, start. And I said, sir, I want to tell you about my strengths. Okay, start. I said, this is my strength, my physical strength, my mental build, all these things. He said, okay. Anything else you want to tell me? मैंने कहा yes sir, I want to tell about my motivation. Okay, anything else you want to tell me? Then I was 10 seconds I was quiet. Then I said, I want to tell you about my family. Then he said, no, Manas, I'm not going to select your family, about you. Then I was like that. So after 10 seconds he says, okay, Manas, you may go. It was a nice 40-45 minutes chat. You may go. And as I stood, I hold the door. He said, Manas, please sit down. He just brought me back, and I sat down, and he was writing something in his notepad. And then and there I got a little bit emotional, because I just get that realization and goosebumps that, is this my last attempt, is this another chance? Because when he was asking, is there anything you want to tell me, I was a little frustrated that I am close. What does he want to know from me? What am I missing on? Is there something I am missing on? Am I too close to that? So I was sitting there, I got a bit emotional. And then he asked that question, that if I select you, how will this 10 years of service in army, probably 10 years, will affect your whole life? And it was such a deep question. It took 5 seconds to process that question. Is he asking my retirement plan? But I answered that, sir, this will change my life. This will change my family's life. What is going to happen if not this? I don't know what I'm going to do. Even my backup is sure, but the army is, again, a way of life, as we keep saying it. But this will give me an environment, broaden my horizon. I will meet a lot of new people, lot of inspiring seniors. This will just shape my life, change my family's life. And he could see some tears in my eyes, as I was saying that. He looked down for a minute. I wiped out my tears and said that, okay, Manus, this time you go. I will not call you back. And when I came out from the interviewing room, I was really emotional at that time. I went to the washroom near it. I just cried for 10 minutes. What happened? A feeling was there that I was close. He wanted to know something, but I could not give that. Or I've gotten selected. This was my last attempt, and what did he see? My whole life a flashback in front of me, and I just cried for 10 minutes. Came out, went to the barracks, talked to my friends, and then in the conference, I got to know that I was recommended.
Very emotional and very beautifully said. Wonderful. So finally, your name was announced. How was that feeling?
It was unbelievable. You always simulate that kind of thing. I practice in my room. How do I stand up when it is called? But it was nothing like that. You can't simulate such feelings like that. And five of us got recommended, and he clearly instructed that please go silently and to the documentation room. And we just, all of us, we went out and we just shouted and cried and hugged it out. And an officer come in, please, please, not here, please go ahead. So it was an unbelievable feeling.
You called your parents after that?
Yes, sir. After that, first I called my sister, because I know if I call my father first, he will call to everyone. He's like, he will share the happiness. But sometimes you want to experience that yourself. I wanted to call my sister first, and she just could not believe. She started crying. Uh, my brother-in-law, he picked it up and said congratulations, but she just cried, could not talk to me for 5 minutes, then processed the whole information, then called me back.
What
Then I
does,
called my parents.
what does your sister do? She's a housewife or she's working?
She's working. She's an IT consultant in Mumbai. She's working in an MNC, and she's done an engineering and MBA.
While you were getting
That,
50%, she was doing engineering.
yeah, yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
And one thing I want to point out that this time my parents were there with me in Allahabad.
Oh, they stayed.
They packed the trip. They stayed back. Somehow they said, my parents wanted to go to Ayodhya for a long time. And even before the dates have come out, even before the CDS results have came out, my father and talked this time my center will come in Allahabad because it's the most famous one. I said that, and we will go together. You will go to Ayodhya and spend time there. Well, he want this time my parents wanted to be there with me
So they
for
went
some
to
reason.
Ayodhya when you were in board, or they stayed back in Allahabad only?
No, they were in Ayodhya praying for me, meeting very gurus in the ashram, staying in ashram.
Did you go to Ayodhya? Did you see that temple?
No, my plan was that if I got screened out, we will go to Ayodhya together. It was all planned out, and if I got screened in, you guys enjoy. All the tickets were booked; they cancelled mine.
Now that you have been into merit also, now you should go to Ayodhya definitely.
Yes, sir. That's the plan. That's the plan. Next month, maybe we will definitely revisit.
Amazing talking to you, Mano. What a heartfelt and heartening conversation. True story of grit and honor. And great to see you here. I wish you all the best. Keep in touch and do call me for your POP. I would love to be there to see you in.
Definitely, sir.
Okay, all my best wishes with you. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.